Chapter 29. Scar. Scar followed Nala on shaky legs. His brain refused to comprehend the information that the bonobo had so casually shared. Simba was alive. Despite Rafiki's vision and Nala's insistence that, if alive, Simba would have traveled to Karamba, up until this point, Scar never truly expected it to be true. He thought they would arrive and discover that this sighting had been like all the others reported over the last 6 months. Zazu flew beside him, yammering excitedly about the miraculous news. Scar tuned him out, along with everything else. He could only focus on one thing, the fact that Mufasa's son still lived. They walked past the waterfall before arriving at the opening of the sea cave. Just as the monkey had instructed, Scar hung back, standing next to a rock pillar, while Nala continued forwards, taking slow, tentative steps, as if afraid of what she would find. An air of anticipation swirled around them, yet it was eerily quiet, with only the sounds of the occasional primate squawking or bird cawing. Even Zazu was silent for once. Nala crept closer to the opening of the grotto. Its rocky ledge appeared dangerously slick. It took every bit of restraint Scar had not to shove her in the water. But he couldn't rid himself of Nala just yet, and especially not with Zazu as a witness. It was imperative that he be patient. Unlike those hyenas he'd first sent to do the job, Scar would make sure it was done the right way this time. "Simba?" Nala called. His name echoed off the walls of the cave, but there was no response. A spark of hope flickered in Scar's chest. Was it possible that the bonobo had been mistaken and Simba wasn't here after all? But just as quickly as it had risen, his hope disintegrated with a single word, spoken in a voice that Scar had not heard in 6 months, and one that he had been assured he would never hear again. "Nala?" Nala and Scar both turned at the same time. There he was, Mufasa's spawn. He stood with 2 others, a skinny meerkat and a plump warthog. It was exactly what Nala had recalled about Rafiki's vision. Nala remained motionless for a moment. Then she took off, screaming, "Simba!" Scar watched with barely concealed contempt as the 2 embraced, jumping around in a circle. Zazu joined in the fray, hovering around the cubs with his wings flapping excitedly. He should do it right now. Take them out one by one and be done with this for good. But he couldn't. Not yet. He must get information from Simba. Scar had to know if the cub had discussed what happened to Mufasa with anyone else. Even Simba's incorrect version of events was too dangerous to leave out in the world. Anyone who had any knowledge of that day would need to be eliminated. It was the only way to secure his place as the leader of their kingdom. "These are my friends, Timon and Pumbaa," Simba was saying to Nala. "They took me in when I got here to Karamba. I guess you could say they've become my family." "Your family is back at Pride Rock," Nala said. "Your mother will be so relieved to see you." Simba's expression sobered at the mention of Sarabi. "How is she?" she asked. "She misses you. Everyone misses you," Nala said. "I can't believe this, Simba. You're really here." "I can't believe it either," Scar said, coming out from behind the pillar. Uncle Scar," Simba said. Scar caught the way his body stiffened, and the apprehension he heard in the cub's voice was undeniable. "Well, Simba," Scar said, "this is quite the surprise. How amazing to find you here in Karamba, just as that mongoose said you would be." Scar had to hold in his smile. He could tell by the shocked terror in his nephew's eyes that his thoughts went directly to the day at the gorge. Had he figured out Scar's role in Mufasa's demise? Learning this was essential. "You've been gone a long time, Simba," Scar said. "We all thought you had met some awful fate." No," Simba said. He dropped his head and stared at the ground. "Simba, do you know about your father?" Nala asked in a cautious tone. "About what happened to him?" His head shot up, his eyes going wide as he quickly glanced at Scar. I know there was a stampede, but I don't know what happened once the wildebeest left the gorge. This time, Scar couldn't suppress his grin. It was a lie. He knew exactly what had happened to his father. When Scar had discovered Simba, he had been huddled next to Mufasa's lifeless body. There was only one reason Simba would share such a lie with Nala. He still believed he had caused his father's death. Scar should have known this was the case. It was why Simba's expression had gone from delighted to panic-stricken the moment he saw Scar, because Scar knew his secret. And Simba was terrified that this deep, dark, horrible secret would be revealed now that he had been found. So, you came with Uncle Scar? Simba asked Nala. Yes. Well, first it was me and Abena, but then there was an elephant stampede and this raging storm, and both scared her so much that I had to take her back to Pride Rock, and she wasn't supposed to tell anyone where I was going. But you know she's just a cub, so she couldn't keep her mouth shut. The next thing I knew, Scar and Zazu were there. On and on Nala went, recounting every part of her journey to Simba. As she prattled on about how she'd swung through the trees with the macaques, Scar set out to devise a plan to rid himself of his nephew for good. Now that he knew Simba had not figured out that Scar was the one behind Mufasa's death, he wondered if he could possibly use it to his advantage. He scratched at his jaw, trying to come up with a scenario that would lead to an accident for Simba, Nala, and Zazu. The most convenient way to go about this was to drown them, of course, but it would be too difficult to do it simultaneously. He would need to break them apart and take care of them one by one. He had to start with Zazu. Even though Scar felt as if he would explode if he did not get rid of his nephew first, Zazu was the one with the capability to ruin everything. If Zazu witnessed Scar harming Simba or Nala, Scar had no doubt the bird would fly back to Pride Rock and tell Sarabi everything. He had to be eliminated. And then it was Simba's turn. Convincing his nephew to remain here in Garamba and not return to Pride Rock would not be good enough. He had to kill him. But how? Simba would be overly cautious around Scar, knowing that Scar knew his secret. His nephew would probably watch him like a hawk, afraid Scar would let something slip in front of Nala or Zazu, which would make it impossible to catch him unawares. Unless... Scar chuckled to himself. Why hadn't he thought of this earlier? He knew exactly how to catch Simba while his guard was down. He walked up to where Simba, Nala, and the others stood. Well, this little reunion is quite something, isn't it? Scar said. But Nala, don't you want to see a bit of Garamba? Her eyes lit up. Oh, yes! Show me around, Simba. Actually, Scar said, why not have Simba's new friends show you around? His friends? This is, after all, their home. And, meanwhile, my nephew and I can have a nice chat. Scar noticed Simba's shoulders stiffen. Yes, he had him exactly where he wanted him, panicked and afraid. That's okay with you, isn't it, Simba? Scar asked. Yeah, Uncle Scar, he said, his eyes darting between Nala and the others. But Simba, we've barely had a chance to talk, Nala said. It's been 6 months since I've seen you. I have so much to tell you. You will have a lifetime to catch up now that we've found Simba, Scar said, and I'm sure he has so much to tell you. Simba's gaze immediately dropped to the ground. Oh, yes. He was terrified of what Scar would bring up. This would be easier than he'd first thought.